Today, we're going to talk about the Chigee AIO6, why you should consider it as your next navigation system, or if you've already got the AIO5 Play or the AIO5 Lite, why you might be thinking, should I upgrade to the AIO6? Well, hopefully stay tuned and the rest of this video will give you everything you need to know why you might want to upgrade to that AIO6. Inmates house life behind bars, not these bars. These bars. Now, if you've been following the channel closely, you'll know that I've had the AIO5 right from when it was first launched. Now, CarPlay on bikes is not a new thing anymore. Loads of us have got them. There's other brands out there, but I think we can all agree Chigee is definitely leading the way when it comes to CarPlay devices for your bike. If you remember, I've had the AIO5 Play, the AIO5 Lite on all of my bikes. And over the past 18 months or so of that product being out there and being as popular as it's been, Chigee have really looked at it and said, right, we're going to make this new 6-inch screen and we're going to call it the AIO6, but they haven't just bought us a bigger screen. So behind the scenes, they've gone right back to square one and they've rebuilt this product from the ground up. They've done so much more, and that's what we're going to deep dive on in this video, showing you the difference between the AIO6 and the AIO5. Now, they might share the same name, AIO, and both be Chigee, and they look identical to each other, but they are completely different. And let's discuss why. So before we start diving in on the AIO6, we need to look at the AIO5 and see what it was they needed to improve. So what made Chigee really popular was their AIO5 Play. This was a device that came in a box just like this. You could take it out of the box and you could fit it to any motorcycle. You would hardwire it into the battery and it would work. You'd get an array of universal mounts, but you could also buy extra mounts so it would work on your bike. It didn't have cameras. So then they made another product called the AIO5 Lite, L-I-T-E. Okay, not LTE, we'll come on to that. L-I-T-E. Now, the AIO5 Lite, this was a product exactly the same as the CarPlay product, but it had cameras as well. Again, it was hardwired into the bike. You'd have either that or the other. We used to get customers coming to us all the time saying, oh, can I buy just the cameras and plug them into my AIO5 Play? The answer was no, you can't. And then they came up with the BMW adapter, which had the BMW interface on the back of it, which clicked straight in to your BMW nav prep on your bike. Now, you couldn't take that BMW adapter off. It was part of the unit. So if you bought the BMW Play for BMW, you had to use that only on a BMW with BMW nav prep. You couldn't use it on any other bike. And the same as if you had the non-BMW version, it wouldn't fit on the BMW bike. So now we're at the AIO6. They've said, right, we're going to make this 6-inch screen, but we're going to make this completely modular. Now, I've got two versions here in front of me. One's called the LTE and the other one's called the Max. We're not going to go into details about the difference between the LTE and Max just yet. We are a little bit later on, but right now, let's just think of this as one product. It's the AIO6. And what they've done differently is, as soon as you buy it, you take it out of the box and you can use it on any motorbike, just like the AIO5 Play. Okay, if I wanted this right now, you could buy them right now. You can take all the bits out there. You've got a handlebar mount in there. You can mount it to your handlebar and it will work and you would hardwire it in. But when I said it's completely modular, there's lots of extra bits that you can buy on our website. And we've got a special configurator on our website so you can make sure you add the right thing for your requirements. So what you get, I've got some of the bits here, but not all of them because we sold out of so many bits. But if you've got a BMW and you're thinking, well, I want to put my AIO6 on my BMW nav prep, well then you buy the BMW adapter separately on our website and then you just screw it on the back. 4 screws is like a USB-C connector that goes between the two. Once that's on there, you can just click it straight into your cradle. Everything works, the Wonder Wheel, everything works on the bike. It brings all the native data from the bike into the bike. If you haven't got a BMW, let's say you've got a Triumph Tiger or it doesn't matter what brand of bike it is, well then you can opt for the Chigee quick release system, which is this just here. So if you fit the Chigee quick release system, you hardwire the hot shoe onto your bike, any bike. So that's on there. And then the AIO6 clips straight onto that as your quick release. Okay. So now we've got something for every bike which has got quick release. Now, if you wanted to, you could fit the Chigee quick release to a BMW. Obviously, you'd take off your BMW nav prep to do that. But then I know what you're thinking. Well, now I'm not getting the native data and the Wonder Wheel won't work. But if you remember back on the AIO5, we could make the AIO5 work with the BMW as long as we used the Bluetooth dongle. So the Wonder Wheel will work and it brings the native data in as well. So you still have that option, but if you want to keep it really simple, you buy the AIO6 display with the BMW adapter, fit them together, there we are, it's going straight in there. If you've got another bike or maybe 2 or 3 bikes like a lot of us have, but they're not BMWs, well that's when you buy the quick release base made by Chigee, and then you fit that to those bikes, and then you can take it off the BMW, change the little adapter mount on the back, it's only 4 screws, and use the one that comes with that, and then you can just literally swap it around different bikes, just the one display. Very handy. So far we've got a new 6-inch screen, and now we've got a modular quick release system for any motorcycle and the BMW. You can have either or. You haven't got to have 2 different systems. So continuing with the whole modular theme, we've also got the cameras. I haven't got any here to show you because we've sold out, but there's more coming. So the cameras are completely modular. You can either use them or not. But the important thing is they're not in the box where you're paying for them and they're a waste of money. So if you want them, you order them and they will literally plug into either of the systems here, straight into the side of the Chigee. So just to clarify, the cameras will plug into both the Max version and the LTE version, and that is something which you just couldn't do with the AIO5. It only came with the AIO5 Lite. So those of you who have got the AIO5, let's point out some of the issues that it had which have been improved with the new AIO6. So slow video transfers and real-time streaming. So those of you who have got the AIO5s, you'll know that transferring that video across to your computer was really, really slow. So with the new processor that is in the AIO6, that has all become much better. It's much more improved. And also, if those of you who decide to use your Chigee AIO5 or AIO6 as a rear view camera, I don't recommend it. Just we should use our mirrors and turn our head. But if you are using that, that's been massively improved with real-time previews, so you can see what's going on in the back, literally right up to speed, which you couldn't do on the AIO5. Something that we noticed here at a bike thing, because we sold so many of the AIO5 systems, is the Android Auto connectivity. That apparently has been massively improved on the AIO6. On the AIO5 series, a lot of people were reporting issues with the screen, cracks in the screen, just overall durability issues. That has now been improved on the AIO6, where they're using IPX9K rated glass. So that's going to make it a lot more durable. Now here's an interesting one, because everyone said the AIO5 was such a smart looking device. It felt premium. It was almost like OEM. It's the sort of thing that BMW made themselves. I think that's why they're head and shoulders above the rest of the competition. But the AIO6 now has an IP69K rated ruggedized housing unit, whereas the AIO5 just had a plastic housing. So rather than talking about all the downfalls of the AIO5, because the AIO5 is still a fantastic product, and if you have that, then you should be very pleased with what you've got. But let's start talking about the positives in the AIO6. It boasts a 6-inch IPS LCD screen with 2,300 nits. Basically, that means it's a brighter screen. So if you compare that with the AIO5, which only has 1,300 nits, so it's almost double, which is going to give you a much brighter screen. The AIO6 also has full HD resolution, whereas the AIO5 only had 720p. And talking about the storage capacity, if you look at the AIO5, that had 16 gigabytes of internal memory, whereas the AIO6 has also got expandable memory, so we can take it a lot further. It's obviously a much faster processor, so when you're uploading footage, it's a lot faster. And talking about footage, and this is a real cool feature which the AIO5 doesn't have, it has remote camera control for the GoPro and the Insta360. Whilst we're still on the subject of cameras, but I'm not going to talk about GoPros and Insta360s, I'm talking about the actual cameras that Chigee make. Remember I said they're completely modular, they plug right into the side of the units themselves. But on the AIO5, although they look the same as the ones on the AIO6, they're not. The AIO5 are just plastic housings. On the AIO6, they're made made of a ruggedized metal housing and their IP68, which obviously helps towards keeping these things waterproof. I appreciate that's not IP69, but they're still going to do a great job. Just don't put your pressure washer right up close and personal to them. Now here's the real major improvement. Obviously the quick release thing, that is a huge improvement for most of us, and especially for me, I like that a lot. But they've got to made an LTE version. So you've got the max version, which a lot of you thinking, whoa, that's top of the range, that's the max. But that's not their way of thinking. The max is actually the standard version. The LTE version does everything the max does, but it takes a SIM card, which makes it 4G compatible. So what does this mean for you if you have the LTE version? Well, it means, first of all, you get a SIM card with the LTE. This comes actually from Chigee. So if you buy an LTE version from us, this comes with it. You can use it or not. You can put any SIM card in there, but six free months comes with this. And at the end of it, you can either carry on or you can put your own SIM card in there, whatever you want to do. But once that SIM card is in there, think of it like a mobile phone. It's not a mobile phone, but it does mean you can now access this device from anywhere in the world. So if you've got your mobile phone and you're on one side of the world and your bike's on the other side of the world, as long as your AIO6 LTE is mounted on the bike, well then think of it as like a secondary tracker. You can literally track the bike through the Chigee Go app, as long as you've got a data connection on your phone and the actual device can see a satellite, okay? Not only that, we can set geofence parameters. So if your bike moves, you get an alert. Not only that, if you've got cameras plugged into your AIO6 LTE, you can view your cameras real time from anywhere in the world. So this is all pretty cool stuff. So a lot of people will be thinking, well, I've already got a tracker on my bike. I agree, but a lot of these thieves are getting pretty smart and they're thinking, oh, he's got a tracker, it's going to be under here somewhere. They rip your seat off, or I've seen some cases they've got a hammer smashed up underneath the rear wheel arch and rip the tracker out that way. They're not thinking that this nav system, this GPS navigation system, which you've left on your bike, by the way, you've left it on your bike and it's secure, it's locked to the bike. If it's a BMW, it's locked with a key. If it's the Chigee version, well, we have the anti-theft lock system for it as well. You've got that on the bike. You can't take it off quickly unless you use tools or literally rip it off really hard, but they're not aware of it being on there. So they've gone down the road, they've taken out your primary tracker, not realizing that you can track them on that. But don't let this confuse you. Just because it's got a SIM card in there and it's 4G, it doesn't mean it's got its own GPS for the maps and for the navigation. This is still a CarPlay product. The navigation that comes through on your AIO6 is predominantly coming from your phone. It's a mirror of your phone. It's CarPlay. It's not its own nav system, okay? So the 4G side of it is literally what I just described, with the geofence alerts. You can track it, real-time viewing of the cameras from anywhere in the world via the Chigee Go app. So the major thing about this LTE is the security side of things. As long as you leave your device on the bike, make sure it's secure. So if you don't have the anti-theft lock, by the way, you only need the anti-theft lock if it's not a BMW adapter on the back, because the BMW adapter already locks on, doesn't it, using your BMW key. It's if you have the other version, you want to lock it on there. Or if you're not using the Chigee quick release kit, well then you're going to use the universal mounting kit that comes with the AIO6. And they've all got security Torx nuts on there, so it's not an easy thing to remove unless the thief is going to be extremely destructive and just rip it off. But why would he just rip it off? If he's planning on stealing your bike, the focus is about stealing your bike, not ripping that off, unless he knows there's a tracker actually in that device. So looking at the current pricing right now here in July 2025, there's an £80 difference between the LTE and the max version. So based on that, that's a well worth upgrade if you are considering having the LTE over the max. Now, my distributor said to me, Steve, you're going to sell way more maxes than LTEs. But so far, to date, we've sold out of all our LTEs. We've got more coming on the way. We've still got a few of the maxes on the shelf. And but the LTEs are very, very, very popular. Don't overlook the LTE, because it's the only thing that you can't upgrade. Everything you see here, we can upgrade. We can add the quick release adapters. We can add the cameras. But if you get the max version, you can't upgrade to the LTE version unless you actually buy the LTE version. Now, here's a nice little perk. So those of you who are still watching, thank you first of all, and I hope you've learned something. But this was a nice little perk. So when our first delivery of AIO6s arrived, we got a big stash of Calimoto 1-year premium subscriptions for free. Now, we've had quite a few of them. I did say on our website that the first 50 purchases would get this for free. Not everyone selected it because it's an optional thing you can buy on there, so not everybody wanted it. I don't know why not. It's worth £51 or £52, so it's definitely worth having. The only catch to it is if you've currently got a Calimoto subscription and you want to benefit from this 1 year free, well then you're going to have to set up another account under another email address. So there is a clause on the back of it. But it's still well worth having. Even if you don't have it, you can give it to someone else who has a motorbike and wants to benefit from the Calimoto app. Actually, also, it's just come to my mind right now. Sorry, hang on.
Finish that off.
Yeah, but let me finish this off first. We did say we had 50. Who knows? There might be more coming down the line. So if the website says they're there for free, take advantage of it. If it doesn't say they're there for free, well, then you can't have it. But, you know, depending when you're watching this, they might be there, they might not be there. All right. But the other thing I was going to mention, which was, I think, a huge bit of news with the AIO5, one of the major things that we used to get emails here all the time was, I can't make my Calimoto work on my AIO5. Now, that was not the AIO5 fault. That was Calimoto. Calimoto made the decision to say, we don't want our app to work on Android Auto. It would work on Apple CarPlay, it wouldn't work on Android Auto. So it would work on the AIO5 as long as it was Apple CarPlay, but not Android Auto. Calimoto have now, obviously working, they must be partnering in some way. I don't know for sure, but they must be partnering with Chigee because they're now saying that it will work. I think it's going to start working as of September, October this year. So yeah, so those of you who are using Android Auto, you will be able to get Calimoto on your device. Like I say, that's not a Chigee thing, that is just an Android Auto thing, period. Okay, I think that kind of wraps it up. I've tried to get as much out there as I can, and thank you again for sticking with me this long. So just to wrap things up, the AIO6, it's got improved functionality, it's fully modular, and then with the LTE, the 4G side of things, improved security systems, which the AIO5 didn't have. So I think we've got enough reason here to definitely opt for the AIO6 as your next navigation system. And if you've got the AIO5, you should now seriously consider upgrading to this new AIO6 system. Now, remember, our website records accurate inventory. This is the important bit. If we say it's in stock, it's in stock, all right? If it's not, we put it on there as back order. So as you are configuring your bundle, if there's anything in that bundle of stuff for the Chigee that says back order, please understand that we only ship your order when everything is complete. So if you see something on back order, but you want the rest of the products now, please place 2 orders with us, okay? Because our system isn't sophisticated enough to start splitting orders. I won't even go into it. It's just a nightmare for us, okay? So if you want to place an order, if it's got a back ordered item in that one order, well then we'll ship it once it all comes into stock, okay? But obviously feel free to ping us an email to say, okay, order number so-and-so, Steve, we've paid you. How long is it until we're going to be waiting? We answer hundreds of emails like that every week, not a problem. So if you want this system on your bike, you know what to do. You can buy it straight from here, us at a bike thing. What's your thoughts so far? Is this something you think you're going to be buying? Please leave a comment down below with your thoughts. What is you're currently using at the moment? Why would you not want this? Give me your reasons why. We're really interested to hear what's going on down below in the comments. Get some good conversations going. So this is the end of the video, but don't go anywhere. We've got so many other videos you probably haven't seen yet. So we've got more videos coming in the future, but the videos that came out last week, we had one recently at the ABR trails with my daughter falling off her G310GS. If you missed that, please click on the link down below and take you through to those videos, and you can see all the other videos we got. Also last week, or maybe the week before, we did the video on the mount. So if you look at the front of this bike, we've got new lights on the front of here, the EX4s by Exposure, and the light mount for the R1300GS, where I think we're one of the first people in the world who have actually got a proper, decent light mount for the R1300GS. Don't quote me on that, okay? It might not be accurately true, but it's one that works and then doesn't conflict with the front forks. Anyway, loads of other interesting videos that might take your interest. If you enjoyed this video, could you please give us a thumbs up? Yeah, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Really makes a huge difference if you do, and if you're not already, okay? So please subscribe. But until next time, stay safe behind bars, not these bars and these bars. And I'll see you in the next video.